Okay. Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay. This time is Game 5. I swear, this is it. This is the last one. This is the last one. wArSF versus Todes. I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the chat. I never do. I never ever pay attention to the chat because it's always just filth and poison and garbage. However, these guys know each other, and in the last game, in Game 4, Todes told us that he lives in Denmark, and wArSF, I believe, said that he lives in France, and they also alluded to the fact that they never met in person, which is cool because they're practice partners. He's found somebody who's a practice buddy. Maybe he used that thread on StarCraft, the main page of StarCraft where you can find a buddy or adopt a noob or something like that, and actually practice against somebody who is of comparable skill level. And so that's super cool, especially the fact that they actually don't know each other. And that's not true. Todes is actually like a sculpted Greek god. He's a man of bronze is what it is. I have no idea what Todes looks like. However, I wanted to tap off to Todes because if he lives in Denmark, I've heard about their national aquarium, and evidently they have this like million-gallon massive tank where everything just lives, and you can see it. I live in Maryland, and the Baltimore National Aquarium on the East Coast of the United States has this really cool center pillar of aquarium, and it runs pretty much the length of the entire aquarium, and you can see fish swim in and out of it, and they all live together in perfect harmony. However, the one in Denmark is like 20 times larger, and I really want to see it. I heard it mentioned one time going to the Baltimore Aquarium, and that's it. That's cool because it usually takes about 3 minutes before Terran reveals exactly what he's going to be doing, and so I figured that I would tell you about my aquarium fetish during that downtime. We have a CC first build, barracks immediately thereafter. Really weird wall off right here, but it is airtight, and it accomplishes the exact same thing a more traditional wall off would do. It keeps the drone from going in and being frisky. We have the spawning pool coming down with an extractor immediately thereafter. Hatch first build, however. So Todes will be maybe thinking about some aggression. I mean, get that early geyser, get up some early tech. Probably just speed, just because Star Station is absolutely enormous, and you need that in order to have any semblance of map control on this. With that first CC going down, it could be, however, I mean, we saw in the Game 4 that Todes was being very aggressive and went for the deny of that CC. So we'll see if there's any change of that. I've noticed that wARS is definitely playing one build style and one build style only. He's just doing that biomine kind of composition, adding in a couple of Hellions sometimes instead of Widow Mines, adding in a couple of Marauders sometimes instead of Marines, but very slight changes. I don't think we've seen him do mech at all lately. Maybe he was trying to do mech last time and it just kind of spiraled out of control. I don't know. But I think that that's because Todes needs to practice against this specific matchup, and I think that he asked him specifically to play this style. So we have a double queen opening. Will he be working up to the more traditional 3 or 4 that we've seen the last couple of times? We see that there's no workers on that extractor at all because he has the 100 gas necessary to get the medic ball of boost out, which is neat, which is really cool. Sometimes you'll see guys have just one worker in the geyser just for a couple of more minutes so that he can actually eventually work up to the 100 gas necessary to go up to lair. It's one of those neat little timing effects, and you really don't miss the income of a single drone. But once you get up to like the Masters League and the Grandmasters League, those timings can actually change, and you get to the point where everything's so incredibly specific that you do miss the income of a single drone. Especially if you're going to be aggressive, or if you're going to be aggressively positioning yourself around the map, because the third base in all actuality is very nice. It's super exposed, but that's okay because Zerg is normally very much in control of the map in this play style. We see a third queen was coming up, where I could have sworn I saw it on the production tab already. Nope, still going crazy. Cool beans, but we have that drone moving out, probably going to be building a hatchery over here at the third, and with metabolic boost finishing, we can see the Zerglings are beginning to make their way around the map. Make sure there's no shenanigans going on back at home. wARS is he's progressing down that normal tech path. He's got that factory he's going to be building on that reactor, probably Hellions, just like we saw last time. He's doubling up on the gas income, probably going to be constructing a third gas down at that natural, but maybe he'll be waiting until he takes his third. He is producing that CC. And with that transition and the bunker being positioned at the low ground, once these Hellions get out, he's really not going to have anything to fear, even from a Zergling run by. Here comes those Zergs, and it looks like the SCVs have already been pulled to defend the bunker. All he needs to do is lift off that orbital command, and he will be totally safe. But once again, this is obnoxious because of the just the lack of mineral income. He's invested so much in getting this expansion up. It's really obnoxious that those Zerglings can attack from right here, just barely out of range from that bunker. Remember, the bunker actually adds range to the Hellbat, or to the Marines that are inside. With these Hellions getting out on the field, though, they're going to be roasting up those Zerglings, pushing them back, and everything returns back to normal. 43 over 28 for the Harvester count. Totally normal, especially with that orbital command up, throwing down the macro mules. I don't think he'll be transitioning it over to the third just yet. Probably going to be waiting for a little bit more map presence in the form of those Hellions, as well as having an infrastructure up to produce a standing army to deal with any Roach or Baneling bust therein. Spine Crawler coming up just to deal with the run by from those Hellions. Lair Tech also started with a Burrow. Oh, Burrow coming out. Cool. That's cool. That's something you don't see nearly often enough. I know that they buffed the price of Burrow, meaning that it should be a lot more common, especially with the Baneling nest. I love burrowed Banelings so much. Probably my favorite unit. Not Banelings in and of itself, just burrowed Banelings. My favorite unit. And I hope we get to see that, especially that burrowed, that Baneling nest coming out. Speaking of coming out, we have the Hellions making their way out, just checking out that third. Has he checked out the top left-hand corner? No, he has not, but he's moving up there right now. No, maybe not. He's got to suspect that it's there. I mean, you've got to know that Zerg is going to take a third base. He's totally going to know. I don't know. Got a Roach Warren coming up too, so this could be one of those Roach Baneling timing attacks, something very prevalent on the ladder, especially with the third base being taken. Wars is going to be rather exposed to that double Evo engineering base going down, but this Roach Baneling attack can really be devastating, especially if it hits like a ton of bricks at the right time. You want to get it at around the 11-minute mark. More later than that, you have to deal with the fact that the medevacs are out, that the Terran economy has really hit up into overdrive. But I think Todes has bought himself just a little bit of extra time because he's been kind of aggressive. He kind of held back that natural just for a couple of seconds, and it looks like he's poking at the third, but he's really not going to be doing anything there because Wars has already aggressively positioned his soldiers. No bunker up here just yet, but that's okay because the Widow Mine is definitely going to be providing a lot of splash damage, AoE, to really just close up these Zerglings. Poking around just to make sure that there's no hidden expansion just yet. Nice Overlord placement. Looks kind of haphazard, but in reality, this is purely to protect against drops. Every avenue for a drop is protected in the bottom right, bottom left, top left. Everything's kind of locked down right now, and that's very, very cool, especially because those Overlords are all very much protected because there's nothing underneath, and unless Wars wants to produce a Viking, those Overlords aren't going to go anywhere, and they're totally going to lock down the oh wow, they're totally going to lock down the drop play. This is crazy. We got a hive on the way. I'm guessing that the Baneling nest, the roaches and everything like that, that was all just a hold place. That was all just an area, favorite unit, a way to hold back wArSF. Maybe he thought that there was going to be some sort of push. And here we are at the 11-minute mark. We can see that the first medevacs are on the production tab. They should be coming out relatively soon, as well as this push. But these Marines are probably going to be walking right on top of these Banelings. However, they're very close to the creep, so usually there is a scan as the Marines move on to the creep so they can pick off some creep tumors. And depending on where the scan is positioned, but depending on when it goes down, it could be that these Banelings are going to be cleaned up. So that's I don't want to look away. I don't want to look away. Centrifugal hook is done. Oh, the Hellions move right on top of it, but he's not going to blow it until the Marines get on top. Come on! Oh, holy crap! I love it. My favorite unit. Oh, oh man. 1-1 as well as combat shields is going to be finishing up. I didn't see stem, but yeah, there it is. It's totally done. Glial Reconstitution done too, but Hive Tech is done. We got the Ultralisk Cavern coming up. Such a big bank. Todes is going to be able to transition seamlessly. Yeah, fool me runs. Shame on me. Todes is going to transition seamlessly into the Ultralisks as soon as he gets that tech up. But 2-2 is just now finishing. These Ultralisks are going to be incredibly early. I mean, it's a 13-minute mark for a Hive. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And Todes knows it. He's going to be relying pretty much exclusively on Roaches to stay alive for this impending push. But Wars is going to be retreating. He just didn't have enough. He lost way too much to that Baneling burrowed Bane mines. That was so crazy. I love that. It doesn't happen nearly enough. And when it happens, it just makes my day. Oh man, but we have like 20,000 roaches on the field right now. Yeah, 22 roaches, a lot of Banelings. This is going to get cleaned up, and the deeper Wars pushes into the creep, the more trouble he's actually going to be in. There goes the hot pickup. It looks like, yeah, we're going to retreat. Oh, massive Widow Mine hit. paying back the amount of damage done by those banelings tenfold. That is absolutely brutal. However, Todes is going to be able to force the aggression down here at the third. He looks like he's pushing all the way back. Another just huge hit by those Widow Mines. That's absolutely disgusting. 26 Zerglings killed by that, but the Roaches are going to be pushing in. Now no longer supported by those Zerglings. It looks like this is going to be an even fight. Probably going to go in the favor of Todes slightly to begin with, but as the reinforcements start to trickle in, those Roaches are going to get cleaned up, especially as the Marauders begin to get added into the mix. We see 2 of them being made at a time. 2-2 on the way. 2-2 finishing for Todes, as well as the Chitinous plating, and we can see that the 2 Ultralisks are going to be popping out right as that plating finishes. So that's going to be an incredibly intimidating force, especially how early it is. We don't have a lot of Marauders out on the field, just 2, and we only have 5 Marauders out, and we only have the infrastructure to produce 2 at a time. However, 1, 2, yeah, that's about it. Just 2 Marauders at a time. Whole lot more Marines, so it's good. This force is going to be incredibly exposed and delicate to banelings, and also to fungal growths. We have the possibility for some chain fungling, as well as holding those Marines in place so that they can eat them like popcorn. Massive fungal growth on top of that. Holy crap! 1 infestor goes down, but that's okay because it's like as he chains this together, he's just working down not only the Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs, but also those Widow Mines that were there. Wow, cleaning that up completely. No, he doesn't have enough energy to actually fungal growth those, and he doesn't have enough ground forces to actually eat up the rest of those Marines and Marauders that were caught by that fungal growth. However, we have Ultralisks out on the field right now, 2 of them trundling forward, trying to close the distance to those Marines with a hot stem, and they retreat off of creep. This is going to get tense very, very quickly. Todes has a massive bank. He doesn't have a lot of gas. He's got a lot of Ultralisks. He's got a lot of tech. Doesn't have 3-3 yet. He's still up on 2-2, but with the Chitinous plating, those Ultralisks still have a lot of armor. They're going to be doing a lot of damage and not taking a lot of damage from this Marine-centric army. A little bit of Marauders, but not much. Concussive Shell is not done. Not that it's going to do much against the Ultralisks, but it could definitely help against the Roaches. Frankly, Todes needs Zerglings. He's got a crap ton of money, and he needs a lot of Zerglings, not only to go in and bait the Widow Mine hit out, but also to come in and kind of hold this force in place. He doesn't have the gas to support the Ultralisks with infestors. He just doesn't. And if he continues to produce infestors, that's what he's trying to do. But what's going to result is he's going to be stunted, and these Ultralisks will not be able to directly engage this force, and they'll get kited to death, which would be disastrous. He's got a lot of money. Doesn't have a lot of larvae, I guess, but he's still expanding. He's up on 5 bases right now. The censure to this is Ultralisks could take this army if they were allowed to engage directly. Wars is not going to allow that. To force that, Todes needs a bunch of Zerglings. He also needs creep. And he's going to be relying on the infestors with their fungal growth, but with only 4 of them out on the field right now, he just doesn't have enough. There goes just Widow Mine hit after Widow Mine hit. Fungal growth is nice, and it gets right on top of those Medevacs, but oh wow, another just massive fungal growth. Oh, absolutely fantastic. I totally underestimated the amount of energy that those infestors had. Only 4 infestors, still enough to chain fungal the entire force of Wars and force that engagement. Really, really clutch play here from Todes, doing a lot of damage, forcing back Wars. It looks like he's going to have to retreat eventually as the production just continues to churn out those Ultras. 6 more Ultras on the production tab, 3 more being added into the mix, nice and fresh. So many hit points, 500 hit points with 4 armor. This guy's probably not going to be able to take that down that command center before it pops out as a planetary. So it looks like that 4th is being taken by Wars. He has had no issues keeping and holding his 3rd, 85 over 71 harvesters. Whoa, a lot of harvesters. I miss the wall with Crawl. Do you guys remember that? I really do miss that. It was always my favorite whenever you had those brood lords coming out and you had like 19 spine crawlers being constructed at one time. And with this bank like this, that's totally something that I could see happening right now, because this is something you never want to see, an empty production tab, especially if you're Terran, but Zerg certainly. Oh man, this is why so many Zerglings pushing in there, but with no detection, those Widow Mines just totally clean up every single one of those Zerglings. He loses 30 supply in a matter of seconds. And now these Ultralisks are left with no support units. These Ultralisks are not good against this composition with nothing to support them. The Ultralisks will try to engage the one thing that can't run away from them, but with the stem, and oh my goodness, that planetary just barely stays up with so many of those SCVs repairing them. Whoa, big fungal growth right down on top of those Marines, and you can see how quickly they just melt away. But with only 2 infestors and only one of them with enough energy to fungal growth anything, It looks like this planetary is totally going to be staying up. Not enough Ultralisk, not enough DPS. Even with that great fungal growth, it's just not enough infestors to hold them in place. Still a lot of extra money. You can totally use... You used to be able to use Zerglings to clean this up, but man, with these Widow Mines hits, I don't know. That's the big problem, is these Widow Mines just melt away the one mechanic that would allow your Ultralisk to engage directly. And I guess with the Overseer showing you that the Widow Mines are there, you can kind of, I don't know, decide not to engage there. But then if you aggressively position those Widow Mines, you don't really have a choice. I mean, they're saying these Widow Mines get on creep, you have to engage a Zerg. You can't allow these bases to go down. This is going to be a heavy blow to the gas income for Todes, and you can see that the gas income is totally the limiting factor for him. That hatchery gets melted away, but here goes the run by of Zerglings, Ultralisk, more Zerglings popping off here to the top right-hand side. Bunker is not saturated at all, and it looks like that Orbital is probably going to be having a very bad time. More Ultralisk coming in from the bottom right-hand side, but so many Widow Mines. Look at that, just massive hits. Not a lot of them on those Ultralisks, though. Still not supported by anything. He's totally going to be able to make these Marines and Marauders just kind of kite back. By the way, the Marauder production has really kicked off into overdrive. Look at all these Marauders. 4 of them on the production tab. We've got 8 of them out on the field right now. And those Marauders really just do mincemeat out of these Ultralisks in just so much extra damage against armored foes. It looks like that third did get cleaned up by the Zerglings and Ultralisks down there at the third, and also poking up here into the natural, forcing the lift off. The SCVs are going to be repairing that as that last Ultralisk gets cleaned up. However, Zerg is now pretty much on one base. No. His natural's totally well saturated. He's still got a healthy economy. Not a lot of gas income. Like I said, that fourth base is very important to have specifically for gas income more than anything else, and gas is totally the limiting factor here for Todes. So that's a pretty big blow. He is retaking his fourth right now. The third has remained non-taken, but with another command center being added on right next to that planetary, he'll be able to take it very shortly. Looks like a CC is also transitioning over to the top left, just as probably only going to be mules dropped here, and then maybe some SCVs in the gas geysers. This hatchery's probably going to get canceled. Oh, I hope it's going to get canceled. So much DPS from those Marauders. But no, wow, Todes saves it and is going to be pushing in here with just a lot of Ultralisks and not a lot else. He's got a couple of Infestors thrown into the mix too, but once again, that Stutter Step Micro from Wars is just way too cost effective against these Ultralisks. They just melt away. Oh man, whoa, look at that fungal growth. It just turns the tide of battle. One fungal growth all of a sudden justifies so many of these dead Ultralisks. It looks like the rest of them are going to get cleaned up. 18 Zerglings are on the production tab right now. Man, this is just totally back and forth. Right whenever I think that Todes' entire army is going to get cleaned up without justifying its existence at all, he lands just a clutch fungal growth and really just demolishes all the units that he gets into that green ball. This is absolutely crazy. It's pretty cool, actually. It's really cool. This fourth has been taken. The geysers have not been tapped yet, so that's just adding more minerals. Not a lot of gas. Hatchery also coming down. We can see that Todes' bank is beginning to falter, and Wars doesn't really have a bank at all. He's got a lot of gas, doesn't have a lot of minerals, but it's because his production has been just so constant. He's been continually churning out Marauders, continually churning out Marines, and you can see that on the minimap where it's just unit after unit is moving across that minimap. Whereas Todes is building things in bursts. He's building 6 Ultralisks at a time. He's building just all these Infestors and Zerglings in wave after wave, and then engaging, and then everything dies, and then he's forced to re-engage. However, with that gas income beginning to falter, he's at the point now where he can no longer totally re-max. He's just producing handfuls of units at a time. And these Ultralisks are kind of left to flounder by themselves because they're fantastic units, but they need to be supported. They need to be supported, and they're not being supported right now. 5 Infestors on the way, and Todes has showed us that he can totally land some fungal growths. So hopefully this is going to be the cincher for him. However, with Terran up on 4 bases and this base fully saturated, like I said, only mules here. Look at that base totally saturated. Man, Wars is just in a healthy lead for that economy. 60 over 56 harvesters, so not a lot of supply. Eaten up by those harvesters on either side of things, really. But really, I think the the censure is that Todes does not have the economy necessary to keep exchanging blow for blow like this. He's not engaging so incredibly cost effective. I mean, look at that resources lost tab. Woof. That's 40% in the favor of wars, 33% in the favor of wars, something like that. So wars is at 180 supply, Todes is at 150. This is quickly becoming a no-win scenario for Todes. However, he just needs one or two clutch fungal growths, gets in there, lands those fungal growths, and then gets out and just crushes those armies. He only needs to do that once, and he can snowball forward and take out the 2 mining bases. There's a great fungal growth on a healthy chunk of those marauders, cleaning them up. Another one that was kind of whiffed. A Reaper thrown into the mix. Why in the world was a Reaper there? Probably a misclick, if I'm being honest. These infestors are probably even more terrifying to wars than the Ultralisks themselves. Another fantastic fungal growth. This is totally what Todes needs. He's pushing forward, but these Ultralisks have seen better days, and now they're pushing into the meat grinder where there is no chance of a concave on these forces. They're moving in with their great fungal growths on the back of them, but now there's just not enough health left in these Ultralisks. And the push, the counter push from wars moves in from the south side, cleans up those infestors, and Todes pushes, just taps out. Oh man, that was awesome. That was really, really cool. Todes showing us how it's done with those infestors, though. Like, that was clutch fungal growths, really, really good fungal growths. A lot of damage to be done there. War's showing you that if you transition over to those marauders early, you can be so incredibly cost effective. Like, I'm just going to leave this up here, 40 to 28. That is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, this matchup is tough. I hope that Todes learned a lot from it, because that was what this was designed to do. In fact, I casted the best of 3 that was done before this, or done after this practice. So this practice was in preparation of that best of 3. I believe he won that. I don't remember. If you could remind me by watching that best of 3, that would be cool. Shameless plug. Regardless, I will see you guys later. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here on Reddit, wherever. You could snail mail me if you could find my address. Regardless, I will see you guys later. I am Big and Scary. Bye.